So I think last class we were talking about the SLAs. So we discussed the conditions of the SLA: start, stop, and then pause. So there's one more important point related to the interviews, that is retroactive start. Okay, retroactive start. Most important. So observe carefully here. Go to the SLA definitions. Sort with incident. So you can see here on the SLA definition, you have something called a retroactive start. And what is this retroactive start? So we'll see that. So whenever this is checked to true, this field appears. Set start to, this field appears. So uncheck this. The set start to is disappearing. Whenever you check this to true, these field retroactive pass and set start to is appearing here. Set start to is set with a field here, date field. Set start to is set with the date field here. So that is created. So these are all the date fields from the incident table. These are all the date fields from the incident table. So out of this, there's a created field set onto this set start to. There's a created field set onto this set start to. So created field is nothing but it will store the timestamp of the incident record created date and time. Getting it? Created field on the incident table stores the timestamp of the incident record created date and time. Now observe carefully. What is this retroactive start? Whenever the existing SLAs are cancelled and new SLAs are attached to the ticket, then new SLAs will have start time as SLAs will have start time as date and time value on the field selected on the set start to. So whenever existing SLAs are cancelled and new SLAs are attached to the ticket, then that new SLAs will have start time as the date and time value present on the field date and time present on the field just a minute, present on the field present on the set start to the SLA definition. So let's see that. So observe carefully. So create some incident ticket. Say impact as high, urgency as high, and then channel as email. Select some assignment group, right? Save. So this is an incident ticket created, and you can see the SLAs are attached. Priority 1, response and resolution. So what I'll do, I'll assign this ticket to somebody, save it. So this is existing SLA completed and it is in progress. So now what I'll do, I'll make sure that this SLA is cancelled and new SLAs are attached. So I'll make sure that existing SLAs are cancelled and new SLAs are attached. Getting it? So basically, what is the start time? When is this record created? Incident record on this date and time. Right. So approximately 20, 39, 28 or 29. Approximately. Now observe carefully. What is start time? This is start time for these SLAs. And also, this is the time. This is the time this incident record also got created. Getting it? The incident was created on this date and time. Now observe carefully. I'm changing the impact. So priority also changed to high from critical. And then I'm updating the work nodes. Priority changed. Save. So now you can see the existing SLA priority 1 resolution got cancelled and the new SLA priority 2 resolution got attached. Priority 1 resolution got cancelled, priority 2 resolution new SLA got attached because priority is changed and the conditions, start conditions of this SLA are met. Start conditions of this SLA are met. What are the start conditions? Active is true, assignment group is not empty, and priority is 2. So conditions are met. These are the conditions. So you can see here, scroll to the right. You can see here, when is this SLA attached? Just now, right? But what is the timestamp it is showing here? 3 minutes ago. What is the timestamp it is showing? 3 minutes ago. And what is this time actually? This is the time ticket created date and time. This is a time, okay? That is ticket created date and time. So now, even though you're attaching new SLAs, the start time will still take ticket created date and time instead of the timestamp at which this SLA got attached. It is not attaching the date and time at which this SLA got attached. It is taking the timestamp of the incident record created date and time. Why is it so? Because in the retroactive, open retroactive priority to resolution definition. So in the retroactive priority to resolution definition, The retroactive start is set to true. Set to true. Retroactive start is set to true. And which field is actually selected here? Created. Created means incident created. Incident created date and time will be picked up for the set start. Now, new SLA is set with the start time. New SLA is set with the start time. The record created date and time because set start to is selected with created field. Is that clear, guys? So whichever the field that you select here, that field will be used as a timestamp for the setting the start time on the ticket. Mostly 99% it will be created field only. Is that clear? If you are not using retroactive start, okay, then this new SLA will attach and then timestamp will be the time at which this SLA got attached. The time at which the SLA got attached, that timestamp will be recorded here. Clear, everybody? Everyone clear? Most important point for the interviews. Alvelu, Mahesh, Manasa, Shivshankar, Kavita, please respond. Is this clear? Am I audible, guys?
It's clear, Dilip. Thank you.
Yes, sir, clear.
All right. Thank you. So with this, we are good with the SLAs. So next we'll start a new topic. So we'll start a new topic called import sets. So import sets. Import sets is a process of importing records data from the external source into the ServiceNow tables. Okay. Import sets is a process of importing records from the external source into the ServiceNow tables, and external sources are of two types. One is file type, another is network type. Most popular questions from the import sets. So these are the most popular questions. So what are the external source types? Two types, file type and the network type. File type is so Excel file, XML, CSV files. Network type, FTP, file transfer protocol, JDBC, Java database connectivity. So these are the types of sources, external sources. So data can be from any of these sources, Excel, XML, CSV, FTP or JDBC. Okay, next. Import set Block diagram, we'll talk about it. Contains load data. I don't say block diagram. Process steps. Load data. Creation of transform maps. Run the transform map. Okay. So we'll talk about the block diagram of import sets. So again, these steps are important, very, very important. Load data. So these are the three steps involved in import sets process. So what is the process basically? We want to import data into service node tables. So we have tables, right? Incident table, user table, etc., etc. Any table. So to those tables, you want to import data from external source. From outside of ServiceNow, you want to take some data and you want to import into inside of ServiceNow tables, right? So import sets in ServiceNow, images, right? So observe carefully here. So this is the block diagram for the import sets. If you understand this, import sets, 90% of the understanding is complete, right? So basically it has four blocks. One is external source. So this is external source, and then tables. So from source, we want to import data into ServiceNow tables. So here is the tables, target tables. So these are all the example tables. Okay, example tables residing in ServiceNow. And these sources are not residing in ServiceNow, they are from outside. So from here, any of these source, you have data and you want to import those data into the example tables here in ServiceNow. So what is the process here? So first, load data. Okay, first step is loading the data. So this from this external source, first you will load the data into import set table. From the external source data, you load the data into import set table. That means this is a table present in ServiceNow. Present in ServiceNow. Import set table is also present in ServiceNow. So through load data process, you will load the data from external source into the import set table. Now data is present in the import set table. Now second step, creation of transform map. So what is this transform map? Transform map is nothing but, so from here, you're supposed to send the data into the example tables. So import set table is also a table which have some fields, So from import set table, you want to transform data into the example tables. So we will do some mapping here. So the mapping between the import set table fields, the mapping between the import set table fields and the fields of the example tables, fields of the target tables, I can say. Mapping between the import set table fields and the target table fields. It's called transform map. So first is loading the data from the external source to the target table. not target table, sorry, import set table. Okay, this table is present in ServiceNow. Right, creation of field mapping between the import set table and the target table fields. Okay, creation of import set table fields, mapping between the import set table fields and the target table fields. So after you create the mapping, through transform map, we will run the transform map. Running the transform map will transform the data from import set table to the target table. So running the transform map will transform the data from import set table to the target table. Running the transform map will transform the records data from import set table to the target table. Is this clear, guys? Are these steps clear?
Yes, sir.
So this block diagram is very important. You can see here. So this is a transform map created between the import set table and the target table. So whenever this transform map is run, the data present in the import set table will be transformed onto the target tables. So here, these many tables are given, but at a time, only data can be transformed to any one of the tables. Because we will not be transforming data to all the tables. Only one table to one table will be transforming the data. Say for example, data is in Excel and the data is related to some users records. Data is related to some users records. Now from Excel, we'll be loading data into the import set table. From import set table, we'll be transforming the data into the users table. Okay, but not to other tables. So based upon the data present in the source, we'll be transforming the data into the particular table. Getting it? So that's how the process is involved here. So all this terminology is very important. External source, data source, JDB, CFTP, Excel, CSV, XML. Okay, these are all. The below one are the file type and above two are network type. Import set table, name is very important. Import set table. So it's a table, staging table present in ServiceNow, which is used for loading the external data, and then transform map. So mapping between the import set table fields and then the target table fields. So all these definitions are very, very important, right? Now, let's see practically how this will work. Any questions so far? So we'll take some data in the Excel. Okay. So this is an Excel and which has some data here. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll try to remove this data. I'll create a fresh data. right? So I have some Excel and I have some users data. So this is a new users data. Okay. So these are the 4 records I have and I'm saving it. I mean, this is a data. Start. So this is the users data I have. Now this is in Excel. Okay. This is not in service. No, this is in Excel. Now what I want to do, I want to import this data into user table. I want to import this data into user table. So how do I do that? So we'll have to use import set process, right? So one of the sources Excel. I have data and I want to import into user table. So now go to the ServiceNow application. So what is it first we do? From the source, we'll load the data into import set table. So say first step is load data. So type load data. So under system import sets, you have load data module. Click on this. So this is a screen where it is asking you few options here. Import set table, right? So this is import set table, right? So either you can use existing table or you can create a new import set table. You can use existing import set table or you can create new import set table. You can use these options, create table or existing table. If you choose this option, create table, that means you are creating new import set table. If you are using existing table, then these are all the existing import set tables. These are all existing import set tables. So let's say create, correct? Say import set users. Sorry, just a moment. Users. Okay. So this is a label for the table. This is a backend name of the table, right? So we are creating a new import set table and source of import. So where do we have the data? In the Excel, right? So in the form of a file, right? So select the file now. Select the file. Where is the data? In sheet 1, right? Submit. So loading is completed and it is successful. Okay, data is loaded. So now from this Excel, data is loaded onto the import set table. So now where is our import set table? So you can click on this link, loaded data. We want to see the data loaded. So it will take you to the import set table. So this is a table, right, which we created. We created this table, import set user 7 a.m. Now you can see here how many records we loaded. 4 records. So these are the 4 records, and this complete 4 records will have a set because we loaded all these 4 records in the form of a set. So it will have iset number, iset, so some number. So all these 4 records have the same iset number because they are loaded as a set, and you can see the status as pending, means they are pending to be processed. They are pending to be processed. Now, so you can see here, these are all the fields present on the table, import set table. So you can see here. So all these fields that you see here, highlighted fields, they are present in the Excel as headers. See, serial number to email address. All these headers are created as fields on this table. See, serial number, last name, first name, department, email address. Getting it? So these are all the headers present in the Excel file. Getting it? All these are the headers. User ID. See here. So this is all the data loaded into the import set table, and these are all the headers. With the same headers, the fields are created. Anybody has any questions following? Right. So now all these records are loaded and they're pending for processing. So first step is completed. That is loaded the data. Next step is creation of transform maps. Right. So from import set table, we want to transform the data onto the user table. So second step is creation of transform map. So we'll do that now. So either you can type here transform map. Okay. You can use this to create the transform map, or else you can also use this link present on the status, import set status, load data status, sorry. So click on this. So this is table transform maps. Click on new. Create a new transform map here. Say transform map for 7 a.m. Okay. So this is a name I'm giving for the transform map, and source and target. So here this is source and this is target. Source is nothing but import set table. Target is a user table. So select the source table here. So what is the source table? This is the source table. Select the source. Target table. Right. So source is import set table, target table is user table. Now this is an active transform map. Okay, and run business rules. So there are few scripts called business rules. Okay, so if there are any business rules already present on the user table, then we want to run them. If there are any business rules on the user table, then we want to run them, because whenever records are created on user table, the business rules they run, they execute some logic. So we still want that logic to execute whenever you are creating records through import sets as well. If you manually create a user record, there will be some business rules that will be executing some logic. Okay, it could be any logic. So now through import set process also you are creating records on the user table. So we still want that business rule logic to execute. So that for that reason we are checking this to true. Always make sure like this is checked to true. Okay. Enforce mandatory fields. That means if there are any mandatory fields, okay, to be checked on the user table during import, then you can check this to other options. So currently the mandatory fields are not enforced. That means even if the data on the mandatory fields is empty, then still it allows. I don't see any mandatory fields on the user table at this point. Verify. So there are no mandatory fields here. So you need to check this to true. So if any other tables, then you have to make sure like mandatoriness. Okay. Copy empty fields. For example, few of the fields from the import set table, the data will be empty on those fields. So still we want to copy them. So then you can check this to true. Few of the empty fields, few of the fields on the import set table would have empty values. But still if you want to copy those fields, okay, then you can use this option. What is create new record on empty Collies fields? Okay, not sure about this. Can ignore this. So if you want to write some script, right, to do some extra configuration, you can use this option, run script. Right, so you can write some logic here as well. Next, so this is a transform map. So what's the main definition? Transform map, mapping between the import set table fields and the target table fields. So here, so we created the transform map and we will be doing the field mapping here. So field maps related list, source field, target field, and then we'll be mapping together. So there are two techniques here, auto map, matching fields, and mapping assist. Okay, now so we can use these options in order to do the mapping. So auto map matching fields means the fields will be automatically mapped. You can see here auto map matching fields. Source and the target table fields are mapped automatically. Click on this. See here, source and the target table fields are mapped automatically, but still there are some fields missing, so we'll have to map them manually. So you can use mapping assist to map the fields manually. So mapping assist, click on this. Okay, so 4 fields are already mapped. You can map email address. This is source, table, fields. That means import set table fields. This is a target table fields. You can see the mapping here in between, right? So email address. So you can say email. So email address. Next, last name. It is already mapped. Okay, we not add it. So you can say user ID. So what else we have? The Excel phone number. Phone number, right? Already mapped. Total 7 fields. So full name is there. Full name. Here also take full name. So name, save. So this is how you manually map the fields. Getting it? So this is a mapping. So most important point here is coalesce. Coalesce. So coalesce. So you can see by default it is false, but you can make it to true as well. So what is coalesce? It is an identifier using which the duplicate records creation will be prevented during the transformation. So it is an identifier using which the duplicate records creation in the target tables will be prevented during the transformation. That means, so to this table you're loading, you're transforming the data, right? So data is coming from the import set table. If the data coming from the import set table, if the same data is already present in the user table, the similar data or same data is already present in the user table. So still you're sending, transforming the similar data again. So it's going to create duplicates. Getting it? So already data is present. So again you're still processing, you're still transforming the duplicate data. Same data again into the user table. So there's a chance that duplicate records are created on the user table. Getting it? So in order to avoid such duplicate records creation in the target table, so can use a check. Can use a check. What is a check here? Coalesce. It's an identifier using which duplicate records creation in the target table will be prevented during the transformation. Getting it? So Collies will do the check whether a record is present or not. Collies will do the check whether the record coming from the import set table is already present in the target table or not. Collies will do that check. If Collies identifies that a record is already present in the target table, then existing target record will be updated with the data coming from the import set table. If the Collies identifies that there is already a record in the target table, then the data coming from the import set table will be updated, not inserted, updated onto the existing record present in the target table. If the Collies did not find the record in the target table, then the record data coming from the import set table will be created as a new record in the user table. So if there is a match found, existing record will be updated. If there is no match found, then a new record will be created. Collies checks if the record from the import set table is already present in the target table. If yes, if yes in the sense like if the record is already present, then existing record in the target table will be updated. If no, then a new record. Is these things clear up till now? Everyone?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Clear.
We'll continue tomorrow. So come with okay. So just go through this because tomorrow again you may get confused. So go through this recording thoroughly. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.